everybody, it's Ryan Metzler here again, and today we're going to take a look at a trick taker. We're going to take a look at a trick taker that's a little bit different, which is something I always like, and this one is called Potato Man. You may have seen or heard of it before. It's from Zoc Games, and this is a game in which you're going to be trying to use the cards in your hand in order to take tricks, but the trick is, or the twist is, that you may only play one of each color in any trick. So if one color has already been played, you can no longer play that. And some suits are inherently better than others, and some cards inherently beat other cards. So, real quick, we're going to take a look at what you get inside of this box. We'll see how the game plays, and then we'll come back here at the end and I'll give you my opinion on Potato Man. So here you can see the components for Potato Man. Now what we have here is a deck of cards that's going to be 4 different suits. You have the red suit, the yellow, the green, and the blue. These suits are going to have different numbers in them. For example, red will be 5 to 18, blue will be 4 to 16, green will be 3 to 14, and yellow will be 1 to 13. So you'll see that red is inherently a better suit than anything else, than blue, than green, than yellow. However, there's some kind of tricks here. Now, as I said, these are the numbers that are in these different things, but there's some special cards. In the red suit, the 16, 17, and 18 are going to be evil potatoes. You'll see that we have a special looking potato here who has a potato peeler. He is evil potato, and he's going to be the highest 3 cards in the deck. Correspondingly, the lowest 3 cards in the deck, the 1, 2, and 3, which are only in yellow, are going to be our hero, Potato Man. He is the technically worst card overall, but he's the best card if evil potato happens to be in the trick. So how are we going to play this game? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to shuffle this deck of cards up, and we're going to deal them out. In a 4-player game, each player is going to get, I believe it's 12 cards. I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, 12, and 4 cards will be set aside. So you deal the cards out, and each player would have their hand of cards. In each trick, there's going to be a leader. You usually start with the youngest player, and that will rotate around the table. That player is going to play any one card from their hand. So, for example, they could play the 13 of blue, which is the old man blue card. All the old men, or all the blues are old men. But he's going to play this card as his trick, and then the next player has to play. The next player must play a different color of card. So since blue has been played, they can't play blue anymore. They could, for example, play red. So now we can see that blue and red have been played. The next player must play a different color, so now it's only green or yellow that could be played. Maybe the third player decides to play the 12 of yellow. Okay, that means the last player must play green, and so they come out and they play the 10 of green. Let's go ahead and say they play that. Now that these 4 cards have been played in a 4-player game, you're going to see what's the highest number. In this case, it's 13, and whoever played the blue 13 is going to win the trick and take a blue-colored potato sack, which is worth 2 points, and they'd set this in their own area. These would then be cleared, and the leader would lead the next trick. So let's say that the leader of the next trick happened to play a very high red card as their first card. They're going to play the 16 of red. Now, there are 2 ways this can be beaten. Either a Potato Man can be played because this is evil potato, or blue could play the 16 of blue, and the second card of the same number always beats the first card. So if the blue 16 were to come out, that player could theoretically take that trick with it. So we'll go ahead and say that the next player plays the blue 16. They could play any card that wasn't red, essentially. Then green is played, and green goes ahead and plays the 4 because they're just trying to keep their good green cards. But yellow comes out, and yellow plays a Potato Man card. Now, right now, as it is, we have the player who is playing the blue 16 winning. But now, the yellow comes out, and the yellow automatically beats potato, or the evil potato, and since these 2 cards are both in the trick, the yellow card will always win. And he's going to take the appropriately colored sack and place it in his own scoring area, this one worth 4 points. Otherwise, if it had been any other yellow card that wasn't the 1, 2, or 3, the blue 16 would have won. Now, you're going to keep going in this manner until one of 2 things happens. Either everyone will play all of the cards from their hands, and that would be kind of outstanding because that very rarely happens, or somebody's not going to be able to play the color, one of the colors that they must play. For example, if red, blue, and green were played and the 4th player can't play yellow, the round is going to end immediately. When the round ends, either because everybody's played all their cards or because somebody can't play the right color, you're going to count your points. And you'll count the number of sacks you've taken, basically each time you win a trick, taking the appropriately colored card. You'll count up those sacks, and that'll be the number of points you got for that round. Now you'll ask yourself, well, there's these special ones down here. What are these for? Well, it'll happen throughout the game that sometimes all of the cards for a certain trick will be taken, a certain color will be taken. Perhaps many tricks were taken with red, and this happens quite frequently because red is, of course, the highest numbers. When this happens, if you take another trick with that color, the next person to take a trick with red will get one of these special sacks here. Or if green was gone and a player took them with green, they're going to get one of these special sacks. These are basically the wilds. They're the leftovers from when all of the cards are gone from a specific color, and they're worth 5 potatoes, 5 sacks or 5 points, whatever you want to call it. And so you're trying to essentially hold on to cards that can take you tricks once all of the other tricks for that color have been taken and distributed amongst the players. So getting these is kind of a way of trying to outsmart everybody else into letting you take a trick once the other cards have been taken from that. Regardless, you're going to add up all of your potato sacks, total them and record them down, and then deal another hand with the next player starting as the start player. You're going to do this one time for each of the players in the game, and whoever has the most potato sacks by the end of the game will be the winner. And there you have it, that is Potato Man. Now, as I said in the beginning, I'm a sucker for trick takers, especially ones that have a slight twist to them, and this one is definitely that. In this game, it's hard to, right off the bat, figure out exactly what it is you're trying to do. You're kind of prone to jump out and try and take cards with your big reds, but being wary of the 16, 17, and 18, which can be beaten by the 1, 2, and 3 of yellow. And that is, in and of itself, a little bit of a twist. But then after that, you notice that there's this subtlety to how you play those cards. Sometimes you don't want to win your red tricks right off the bat. Maybe you want to delay a little bit and try and win red tricks once all of the red sacks are gone and scored already, giving you 5 points for a red trick instead of 1. And it's the intricacies of trying to figure out how to do that, how to hold on to cards for a certain amount of time, or end the round prematurely by making a player have to play a color that they can't play, thus eliminating scoring opportunities for other players and scoring you points while everybody else misses out. So there's all these small little intricacies that make the game great, and I enjoy it quite a bit for that. It's definitely different, it definitely forces you to think outside of the box in terms of trick takers, and it's just a nice refreshing change if you play a lot of standard trick takers. So if you like trick takers, you like interesting card games with small twists, check this one out. That's Potato Man.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock.